Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, whose vision is to deliver world-class care, making life better for the communities they are privileged to serve. Offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services so residents can live life better here. San Juan Regional Medical Center, community-owned and operated, here for you. The Four Corners Balloon Rally returns to Farmington September 26th through the 28th. If you can't make it in person, let KSJE take you there with our KSJE On the Road program on Facebook. Each morning, KSJE will be streaming video of the Mass Ascension, Friday from Lake Farmington and Saturday and Sunday from the Animas Valley Mall. Also on Friday, join us from San Juan College for the Balloon Glow from 6 to 9 p.m. KSJE On the Road, taking you to great community events.
Now back to Studio A and the award-winning Scott Micklin Morning Program on KSJE.
My guest this morning on the program, as I mentioned, from the San Juan County Partnership, Executive Director Anna Krutsky is here with us this morning. Good morning and welcome back to KSJE. Great to have you here.
Thanks, Scott. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for being here. Also joining us is Michelle Chavez, who is here this morning as well. Michelle, welcome back to you. In your new capacity, you are now the Truancy Program Facilitator.
Yes, I am.
Congratulations, which is the focus of our program this morning. So we'll be talking to you a lot about your new job and new duties and things like that. But let me turn back to Anna Krutsky about this new program with the partnership. As we know, the San Juan County Partnership does a lot in the community. This is one more feather in your cap, I guess, of some of the things that you are working on.
We are ever evolving and ever trying to meet community needs. So
right. As the community evolves, I guess, too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So
this is not your grandma's San Juan County Partnership.
No.
Or grandpa's or anybody's, right?
No. We are going to be coming up on 35 years, I think, next year.
How about that?
We should definitely keep that in mind as we're moving forward.
Right.
Maybe I'll have some activities next year.
I bet you probably will. That's true, but very good.
Yeah. So we are continuing to really focus on our prevention efforts in this particular.
That's the one thing that hasn't changed
exactly
in all this time is prevention.
That is our foundation. It is our primary focus. And a lot of the work that we do is around how do we prevent unwanted behaviors or other things with people within our community.
Right.
So one of these current initiatives that we're doing that we are working with with San Juan County on is to address the concerns around truancy. So the state has identified that it is a significant problem.
Right. Okay.
And, really ever since, it was a problem before COVID, but with COVID and so many kids staying home during that, well, everybody staying home during that time.
Sure.
There was a significant reduction of kids returning to school.
Okay.
And we continue to see that concern. So I think it's 1 in 3 kids are not in the 23-24 school year were chronically absent.
I see.
Okay. I am not going to identify what chronically absent means right now.
Okay.
So
all right. But they weren't showing
because I don't
up.
have that on the top of my head.
Okay.
Because and
but it's more than usual, I guess, is how I would identify
absolutely.
it, right? And define
it is multiple days. Do you know what the actual?
I believe it's missing more than 10% of the instruction time.
More than
Exactly.
10%.
More than
Got it.
10%.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
So
I was going to guess.
My
but I don't
math
wanna be
is
wrong.
rusty this morning, but if you have a 180-day school year, that's 18 days. Is that
Correct, yeah.
about what we would probably give or take?
Yeah.
That's pretty good for me. I cut my shoes on and everything
That's
to figure that math
impressive.
out, right?
Exactly.
So there you are.
Yeah.
So that's significant.
So it is significant, and it's a big concern, and there's no real teeth around for the schools
Right.
in order to address this issue. So we are, this is a 18-month project, so we started it last winter, and we're able to connect with all the different school districts because this is a big county.
Sure.
We have 4 school districts.
Right.
And so we've connected with those folks, and we've started to just identify, what are they seeing? What data do they have? And collecting the data from the state, and then sort of building that understanding, putting it into more digestible information, giving that information back to the school, and now we are working on trying to increase awareness across the county for all citizens.
Right, makes sense. And you have to have that buy-in from the school districts, I imagine,
Absolutely.
to make this work, obviously.
Right.
And I guess some of the data is this more evident in certain grades, lower grades, higher grades?
It's a
Is
really
it
good
different among
question.
the school districts, I guess, or is it the same? Who knows, right?
So-
Until you look at the data.
So we do have that very specific data that if anybody's interested, they can get that from us directly. For each school district, it is not significantly different from school district to school district. It tends to be fairly, this 1 in 3 statistic
Right.
is so 33% of students are
That's
chronically
Anna's way of
absent.
telling me to put up the graphic.
Right.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Is-
But right, that's what you found.
Yeah, that's what we found. So what we're really doing in our efforts are, because we're not going to be able to make any statistically significant difference over this period of time, is really gain an understanding of what are the barriers and what are some ideas about how those can be addressed.
I see.
So-
And that's because of just the length of this program, the 18 months that you're
Correct.
working with? Is that the
Right.
idea? Maybe
Yeah.
you'll get more money, and it was
I don't know.
a hope to maybe expand it if you can, but right now you're working with what you have.
So this is my goal. My goal is at the end of this time, by the end of June this year, the end of the school year,
Right.
that we have a document with some really solid plans that we can give back to the county, that the county can use to bring back to the state to request. It could be funding, it could be other services, it could be, we're not sure yet.
I see.
But it gives them that information that they can utilize to support efforts moving forward.
Gotcha.
So whether that is with us, with other organizations, with a combination of ideas, this is really an effort to try to just really get a handle on what are the issues, what are some of the things that we can do, and what are some ideas about implementing that.
Right.
So
And
that's
to be
what we're
clear,
working
you're
on.
talking about getting this back to the county, not necessarily the school districts, or would they be part of this too?
All together.
Okay.
All together.
But it's the
Absolutely.
county that would approach the state.
The county would approach the state for more funding, so this is sort of an outside perspective. The schools all have really solid, good plans. Farmington District specifically has utilized some other outside supports
Right.
that have been offered to them to try to address these issues as well. So the schools are doing an amazing job of trying to understand and addressing these issues individually. They're all, there's a lot of stress there. There's a lot of struggle with being able to reach the kids, the youth, and the parents who they need to reach.
Right.
There's a lot of movement within our county from school to
Right.
from district to district, and sometimes kids get lost in the mix. So there's a lot of different factors that come into this. But the schools, I really need to say, the schools are doing an incredible job of being aware, collecting information, creating plans, with the resources that they have.
Right.
So I think that that's a really important component. So this is really sort of an outside perspective and an outside support to highlight some of those efforts,
Right.
and to continue to support what they're doing.
Sure, got you. And I guess that's where Michelle comes in.
That's where Michelle comes in.
Michelle, talk to me a little bit about the job that you are doing, I guess, with this program, and I assume probably working with the schools too, to a certain extent?
Yes, so what we've been doing is we work with the students and in the schools and with the families and with the community. So basically what we're doing is creating a bridge between families and schools and connecting them with resources, meeting them in the home. As Anna said, the schools are doing a really good job working with the students, and our job is to go into the community and work with the parents to identify which resources might help the students best to get them back into school.
Sure. And in your work so far, because you're relative, it's a little bit new, right? You just started with the school year, I think you were telling me before we came on the air this morning. What are you finding when you're talking with the parent component of this? Is there anything that surprises you about what's happening there at home, maybe, that affects truancy?
I think it would be childcare and transportation. That would be a big thing. San Juan County is a rural area, so I think that transportation is one of the big things. You know, if a student misses a school bus and there's nobody there to give them a ride to school, well, then they're not going to make it to school.
Right.
So, those type of things.
And that kind of, I guess, causes a kind of a cascade effect, right?
Yes.
Because then what does mom or dad do to try to get them to school, and they've got to get to work, and et cetera, right?
Yes.
And so that's part of what this is. And then the kid is absent, and there it goes. And then the school starts its process, I guess. So
Yes.
that's part of it. And what else with your job? What else there's more to it than just that, I know,
Yes,
right?
yes. We also created a task force with all the different school districts, a place for them to meet and share information. As Anna mentioned, there might be one student moving from one school district to another, so that's just a way for them to connect. How are you guys dealing with this? What kind of policies do you guys have here? What works? Just basically a place where they can collaborate and share ideas.
Got it. And I guess this question is for both of you. Chime in. If there is a student maybe that's kind of raised a flag on the truancy report, if you will, and they move from one district to the other, is there a way to kind of let the new district know maybe that this student needs some additional resources or maybe assistance?
Yeah. So one of the things that we, this task force, which we started actually in the spring, and so we did have an initial meeting back in the spring, and we are putting this back together starting this fall. That is a virtual meeting, so it's a Zoom meeting that we're doing monthly, and it's a place where the schools can talk to each other about just that. So if there is a particular family or a particular youth who may be lost, they're like, wait,
They weren't attending school here, but now we don't know where they're
maybe
going.
they have some special needs. Maybe there's some, or there's been some discipline problems historically. How does where they're the next place they are going, getting on top of that? Do they have the information they need to try to help this family be successful?
Sure.
So that's one way that we've and it had historically been done pre-COVID, and so this is an attempt to get that communication working again.
Right.
So that's one of the efforts that we are working on.
Sure. One of many. For sure.
One of many, and I've got a list.
Right. True. Very true. And so as we're looking at this kind of sheet that you've provided to us this morning about this program and the different components of it, we see the attendance data at the very top, and then the second bullet is kind of what students can do, and do they have, I guess they have a role to play.
Absolutely. Every student has a role to play. We know that a lot of youth struggle with anxiety about going to school. There's a lot of social pressures. Maybe there's some anxiety around academics specifically, and a lot of kids will squirrel out of wanting to go to school and find all kinds of ways. So if there's a good support network within the school itself between peers, that can be an incredibly, probably one of the most powerful ways for kids to want to go to school is if they are feeling supported by their friends and peers within their community.
Gotcha. That's important. And I would say, too, we just had guests yesterday from Farmington Schools talking about the new cell phone policy.
Yes.
And that seems to be making a difference from what they were telling me yesterday on the air about with no phones, there's maybe less of that around.
Less
maybe if there's
social stressors.
if there's a little interaction that's maybe a little pushing and shoving, it's not being recorded on a phone and showing up on the internet later on that day and things like that. So maybe is that going to hopefully help lower some of these anxiety things you're talking about?
It absolutely could. I mean, it's so big. I mean, being
and that's not just the one cause. I understand that too.
No,
sure.
Not at all. No, it's significant, and the social media aspects can be really, really hard for youth to navigate. And having a reduction of phone usage within the schools during instruction time helps kids be more focused on what they're doing, and I think it helps with their ability to interact in a more healthy way with each other, so they're not doing it through the medium of a phone.
Right. Actually talking to somebody.
Yes.
Maybe another kid down the hall or next to them in the classroom or what have you.
Or noticing people because they're looking up.
Yeah, true. Very true. So that's one possibility, and I'm sure you'll track that this year.
Absolutely. So we did do a significant survey in the spring to identify what are some of the barriers to people going to school. What are some of the causes? So we're going to test that again in this coming spring 2026, to see if there have been changes, and that will be a significant component of our final write-up of what's happening.
Gotcha. There's more to talk about with this program, and that includes parents and schools, and so I wanted to ask you about those points as well.
Yeah.
For parents, is that part of, Michelle, is that part of when you reach out to them and things like that to see what help they need and what they can also do on their behalf?
Yes, as we know, San Juan County Partnership focuses on community wellness. So one of our main points is knowing the resources within the community. So providing that support to the family is what we're focusing on doing. A lot of the problems that students might have are not necessarily related to school, and it might be in the home. So that's where we come in and provide support to the parents.
Right. Very good. And of course, that could be a lot of different things, right?
Sure.
In different families these days. It could be a single parent. It could be maybe a grandparent that's dealing with the children, or other combinations thereof.
Yes.
But you're helping all of those types of scenarios, I guess, right?
Yes. Maybe they might need a food box, or they may need assistance with utilities or rental assistance. Just connecting them with any type of resources or anything that might hinder the student from going to school that is a parent issue, not necessarily a student issue.
Right. And Krutsky, I guess that is also interesting for maybe some other folks to hear, because they may seem unrelated. Why would not having food keep my kid from getting on the bus and going to school? Yet it can disrupt a lot of things in certain families.
Absolutely. Like Michelle said, really knowing the resources. Schools can refer, if they have a chronically absent student, they can refer directly to us, and Michelle will go into the home with identified families, and then help them, first of all, just what are the issues, what's getting in the way here, and then help them problem solve. So we will be doing referrals it could be counseling referrals, and so we would send them to maybe a handful of behavioral health providers in the community, like Cottonwood Clinical Services or PMS or Desert View Family Services, or some of the top
we have those resources available if they're needed. Yeah.
How do you access food? Where can you find it? Are you signed up for food stamps? Do you have the medical resources that you need? Are you signed up for Medicaid? Do you need that? Are you housing unstable? Mm-hmm. What are the transportation needs? And can we help you identify ways within your own community, within your own family, that haven't been identified yet? So helping them to address those specific barriers and work through those by utilizing the resources that we have in the community.
Sure, right. And obviously, again, you've got to get the parents to buy into this, I guess, to accept this.
And this is why we do this in the home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't make them come to you. You go to
No,
them.
never.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
an important part of this
It is
too.
an important part.
And I know that there is certainly privacy issues and things like that when it comes to children and grades and school and what have you, and all that is very confidential between the schools and you when you get a referral and your folks that go
Absolutely.
out to the homes. And that's
Absolutely.
also very important, I think,
It
too,
is.
for folks to understand.
Absolutely. If there are any issues that have been identified, everything is confidential. Nobody is going to know where we are,
Right.
where we're specifically working.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is really important as well.
Yeah.
And then the final note here is about schools and what they can do and what they are doing with
Well,
you.
schools are doing an amazing job. Really, making sure that they're being supported in the curriculum of the day, the prevention programming that we're working on, and letting helping parents, or schools are supporting and understanding to parents and youth about the importance of their education, and what that can do to support your growth as you move into adulthood, and to be a productive member of society.
Sure.
And feel confident in those things. So the school's doing an incredible job, but yes, we've outlined just sort of a few things that they're currently doing and other things that they can work on. Like we just said, with the Farmington schools, working on the reducing cell phone usage
Right.
during instruction time is significant.
Exactly. Well, and I think that's happening in other districts too, but we just were talking about it with
Yes,
Farmington,
yes,
so they
yes,
get the
yes,
shout
yes,
out, but
yes.
I don't want to
No,
discount
no,
the
no,
other
no,
ones
no,
either, because I
definitely
think
not, no.
all have adopted policies this
They
school
sure
year,
have.
and so hopefully
Yes.
we'll see some of these positive things in every school and school district. I was going to highlight again another Farmington school program that they have been talking about with me here on the radio, and that is using AI when it comes to tracking absenteeism and things like that, which I think is kind of fascinating, because AI to me is still fascinating, not in a creepy
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
But this is a way maybe to use it for good, and that they can have this technology kind of look at a student and see where there may be something, maybe significant absenteeism or whatever, and then assign a human being to maybe look into that a little deeper and see what's going on. Is that kind of helpful to what we're talking about here?
Oh, it certainly can be. It's a quicker way to identify a particular individual, or maybe reasons. Sometimes there's kids who are doing great in school, but the family, maybe there was a death in the family, or there's a celebration, and the kids need to be taken out of school, and they're gone for maybe 2 weeks, or for an extended period of time.
Right.
That's going to show up in an absentee record, but it's not necessarily a problem for that particular individual or that family. So identifying which kids we really need to be targeting for supports and which families need the most help, that could definitely narrow that understanding and be much more helpful.
Right.
The reality is that the way that absenteeism is recorded is very general, so we don't have necessarily that specific aspect, which makes the numbers not look as good. So understanding the specifics and having a better, clearer, more concise data report on those particular details can be supportive for the schools, to give them an idea of okay, where are the real problems and where are they not?
Sure. It's not always black or white. You're either here or you're not
it is
here.
never black
and
and
that
white.
could mean all kinds of different definitions, I
That's
guess,
very
right? Of
true.
why there's
Yeah.
a student who's missing from class.
Yeah.
So that's important as well.
Yeah.
Michelle, I wanted to come back to you and ask you a bit more about the job that you are doing and what you anticipate to be doing through the school year and things along that line. Some of the things that you are going to be working on.
We are going to be working on a positive media campaign all throughout the county, and it's not focusing particularly just on students, but the family, what parents can do, what the community can do, what the schools can do, and just basically promoting prevention and keeping students in school.
Right.
And just kind of a boost for the community, working together to, hey, go to school, attendance matters, and just overall positive message, because like we said, the schools are already doing a great job. We just want to provide extra support.
Sure. And you mentioned that positive media campaign, and so again, that tells me that it's not going to dwell on the negative, but
Yes.
more on the positive.
Yes.
What is successful? What is happening? What type of students are showing up at school. Is that kind of the idea that you're talking about?
Yes.
Absolutely. And
Nice.
hopefully people are seeing this in our newspapers. We're talking on the radio.
Here we are.
And through social media.
Right.
So that has been pushed out over this past month because September is Truancy Awareness Month.
Okay.
I didn't put that on the top of the information there.
That's okay.
But so that was our goal, was to really stay true to that. And so Amanda Evans with the partnership has put quite a bit of work over this past month into building some of that information and pushing it out to the community. Just, it's as much as we can saturate with positive messaging
Right.
about the importance of attending school and what the benefits are long term.
Sure.
The better.
You bet. And if there's other folks that are listening to us this morning or watching us this morning, and maybe not their kid, but maybe they know somebody else's kid might be absent more than necessary. I mean, what are some of the things that maybe somebody else can do? I know it's sometimes hard to maybe want to get involved, or how much is too much, but do you have any advice for them?
It depends on your relationships,
Sure.
right? So if you are somebody who has time and can offer to drive somebody to school, that can be significant.
Right.
Lending, obviously, any neighbors or community members need to be touching base with parents about, what can I do to support you, and maybe give some specific ideas. Maybe somebody is concerned about whether they have breakfast, but our schools are providing that now.
True.
So getting to school makes a significant difference in some of those kids who are struggling with not having their needs met at home, can have them met at school.
True.
So their mental health needs, their physical needs, a lot of those things happen in the schools, and the schools have the resources for those needs currently.
As long as the kid can get there.
As long as the kid can get there. It really is about getting into school.
Right.
And then, if kids are struggling there, accessing the resources that the school provides.
Sure. Which are notable as well.
They are certainly, yeah.
And so that's an important thing to remind folks
is.
about as well. But
Yeah.
this is a very exciting program. And
Yeah.
again, as you said, this is going on throughout the school year this year.
It is?
And so by May, maybe you'll come back with an update
Yeah, I would love to.
and let us know how things did. Michelle, you'll let us know how you
Yes.
did.
Yeah, we'll come back in May and
As
see
you-
what we find out.
Put this together. And if there's folks that are watching that have some questions about this, or maybe want to know what more they can do, they can reach out to the partnership.
Anytime.
Okay. Very good. Great. Well, thank you both for coming in.
you.
Always great
Thank
to see
you.
you both.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. My guests from the San Juan County Partnership here on KSJE. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.